Let's move to this now. The Eastern Cape ANC's Provincial Conference which in fact was scheduled to take place this weekend, has been postponed. Now the party's working committee has postponed the conference, citing verification processes as well as some pending disputes. Let's get more details now. We speak to Ngqondi. He's the ANC Eastern Cape Provincial Head of Communications. Gift, thank you so much for your time this evening. So how far are you as a province from finalizing these internal disputes and getting the verification report signed off?
Thanks very much and welcome to your show. I am audible?
You are in fact, you are.
Oh, no, thanks very much. Look, first and foremost, the Provincial Working Task Team met yesterday, and after receiving a report on the state of readiness to convene the 9th Provincial Conference, which was scheduled this coming weekend, the 22nd of April to 24th of April, it resolved that the conference must be postponed for a further date. One of the reasons, after receiving the state of readiness report, is the issue of disputes. You will recall that there are aggrieved members of the ANC from different branches across the province, across the regions, who lodged appeals. Some of them lodged appeals with the Provincial Dispute Resolution Committee. And I know for a fact that 80% of those disputes within the PDRC have been resolved, and some also resorted to go to appeal to the National Dispute Resolution Committee, which is the NDRC, because they are aggrieved with the outcomes of the PGMs. But because of, we want a credible conference, and you must remember, for any conference to be credible, credentials of the conference must have integrity. And for the credentials of the conference to have integrity, that process of internal democracy within the ANC, where all members of the ANC who are aggrieved resort to those dispute resolution mechanisms are exhausted. Then, after all those processes are done, then the conference can sit. And you have communicated those decisions to those affected.
Pardon me, allow me to come in there and then ask you, because we all know that, as you say, you have to have credible credentials in order to continue. But how sure are you that you're going to be finalizing this as soon as possible, much to the satisfaction of each and every single delegate?
As I've indicated to you that most of the appeals have been completed by the Provincial Dispute Resolution Committee. And some of those appeals now are sitting with the NDRC. And that's why in the meeting we resolved that the NDRC must speed up that process of those appeals, so that when the reports or the outcomes of the appeals are ready, they are communicated to those aggrieved, affected members, so that the conference could sit. The second thing, you'll recall the conference of 2017. We don't want to have a recurrence of that conference of 2017 where there were festival chairs. We want a credible conference. And one of the reasons that the PWT resolved to was that for any credible conference, we must not rush issues because they are affected members. The last point that I want to raise with you is that the members of the ANC in the Dr. W.B. Khobusana region who went to the East London High Court, the local division, complaining that some of the processes of the branch meetings were not adhering to the guidelines. And the court made a ruling after that application to interdepartmental conference that the PDRC or the ANC must exhaust the mechanisms and provide reasons as to what they have done on the 3rd of May, which is in the next 2 weeks. So we felt that because of these litigations, we want a process which is credible, which is not diluted with all these litigations.
All right.
Let's clean our house in order and make sure that the process is clean leading to the provincial conference.
And it's definitely important because even some of the allegations in that particular region, as you talk about, did include that there were some, inflating of branch members and also even using some of the names of deceased as well as some of those incarcerated. But let's move to something else that's in the public domain. And I'm keen to hear from you on what you think about this, because you talk about the fact that the conference is being postponed due to some of these disputes that are outstanding. But some of the reports out there are suggesting that there's more to this issue than meets the eye. I mean, they're saying that those aligned to Babalo Matigizela, for example, say the postponement is part of a plan by Oscar Mabuyana's camp to gain numbers.
Look, one thing we must accept as to one thing you must accept as the media is to drive a wrong narrative. The Provincial Working Task Team is the structure of the ANC, of the PTT, that on an ongoing basis made to look at all the issues, including the preparations for the conference. And it is the structure that took a decision, not individuals, that because of these outstanding matters, we cannot rush to a conference. Secondly, as I indicated to you, that we want a credible conference. We want a conference where there's integrity, where everything is above board. So for everything to be above board, you have to adhere to all the guidelines set up in the guidelines leading to the conference.
I hear you, we're running out of time. Pardon me. Yes. Can I come in there? Pardon me. I'm so sorry to disturb your train of thought. But are you saying there's no truth to these reports that are suggesting that this is almost like a cooking of, for things to align in Oscar Mabuyana's favor?
No, not at all. You see, one point that people must understand is that a provincial conference is a provincial conference of branch delegates. And at least 90% of delegates to the conference are coming from branches. Hence, when there are members who are aggrieved, who appeal to the NDRC that they are not happy with outcomes of the branch general meetings, NDRC has to look at that matter, respond and give a feedback to those members so that at the end of the day, when they are happy with the outcomes, the conference will proceed because that will be a credible process with a credible conference. Hence, members who are coming from branches must have that opportunity to participate in the conference of the province.
Ngqondi, I wish we had more time, but I do hope you'll come back on the show so we can really elaborate further on these issues. But thank you so much for availing yourself this afternoon and for giving us a sense of what exactly is going on there, because there's been lots of talk around this particular conference, and that is Gift Ngqondi. He's the ANC Eastern Cape Provincial Head of Communications.